Hey guys, so this week will be a little different. Your schedule will show something differently than what you're supposed to be watching. On the title of this video, I will say needs to be watched this week, which is 3/15/2021 through what is Friday 19? Through 3/19/2021. So I will do 4 videos like I do every week. We'll have 2 different packets this week. We'll have this one and another one that looks very similar. But it's just more practice for us. So this video will be just a couple pages. It's solving equations still. Same thing we've been doing, but now we have fractions and decimals. So we're going to read the problem and see what is happening to our variable. Remember, the variable is what you try to get by itself. So our goal for this packet, get variable alone. And we're going to use inverse operations. So that booklet we had, Solving Equations book, and how it talked about inverse operations, we know that addition, just a minute. All right, sorry about that. I had to pause it for the announcements. Alrighty, so we were saying our goal is to get the variable alone. A variable is any of these letters that we have. So on this page we have an A, a C, a G, K, M, P, R, V, T, X. Every page you're going to have different letters. A variable doesn't have to be a set letter. It can be any letter. And to do that, we use inverse operations. So addition or subtraction, which this whole page is only addition or subtraction. But the other set is multiplying and dividing. You should write these on every single page. That way you don't forget. So for this page, we're only working with adding or subtracting. And lucky enough, all of our fractions have common denominators, because when you add or subtract fractions, they have to have common denominators. And in this case, we have common denominators. So we have A plus 3/4 equals negative 1/4. Well, what's the opposite of adding 3/4? Would be to subtract. So since their denominators stay the same, they're already common, we don't have to change those. We're just simply going to do negative 1/4 minus 3/4. Over here, our 3/4 minus 3/4 cancel, leaving us with just our variable. And that's going to happen every single time you solve an equation. When you get that variable alone, it either equals 1 when you're multiplying or dividing, so you have 1a left. Or in this case, we have a plus 0, so we don't have to write that down. All right, so we have 1/4 and we have 3/4. Since they're both negative, I'm just going to get a larger negative number, which we haven't talked a lot about. We're just going to combine them. So we still have fourths, and we have -1 and 3 negatives, so we have 4 negatives, which this is equal to -1. Number 2, we have C minus 2/7. The opposite of minus 2/7 would be to add. So plus 2/7 plus 2/7. Over here by our variable is gone. We're left with C equals, our denominator stays because they're common and we're just adding. We have 8 plus 2 more, so we have 8, 9, 10. 10/7. We can convert it because this is a fraction greater than 1, or an improper fraction. So we can convert it. We have one whole group of 7ths, and then we have 3 7ths left over. Number 3, we have 7/5 is equal to G minus 6/5. The opposite of minus would be to add it. Our 6/5 on this side are 0, leaving us with G equals And now we have 7/5 plus 6/5. Sorry, 7/5 plus 6/5. Our 5, our denominator stays because we're just adding. And it's common already. So we have 6 plus 7, which is 13. 13/5. And since these are already improper fractions or fraction greater than 1, I'm just going to leave that. Number 4. We have 2/3 equals 1/3 plus k. This doesn't have a sign in front of it. That means it's positive. If there's no sign in front of a number, it's a positive number. So the opposite of a positive 1/3 would be a negative, so a minus 1/3. Our 1/3s over here cancel out, leaving us with k equals. Now we have 1/3 or 2/3 minus 1/3. Our thirds stay because our 3 stays. It's our common denominator. 2 minus 1 is 1. So k is equal to 1/3. I'm not going to do the bottom half with you. Try these on your own. If you have questions on them, please ask me. You might say, I have a question on the one-step equation packet, and at the bottom it says page 3. That way I know what page you're on. Remember, you're just doing the opposite, and this page is only adding or subtracting. So my suggestion is to draw a line down each of them. And since this is a plus, you're going to have minus 1/6 on both sides. And you're going to get your answer. Since this one is a negative or a minus 3/2, you're going to do the opposite, which is plus 3/2. Leaving you with P equals, and this one was M equals. Okay, so this one might be a little tricky. You might need a calculator, which is fine as long as you know how to put in your fractions. We have minus 5/9. The opposite would be minus, would be 2 plus. Leaving you with R equals. So I've started 3 of your 6 for you. You need to solve them, and then you need to try these last 3 100% on your own. If you have trouble, just remember, ask me. We're going to go ahead and go on to the next page. Again, this one is adding and subtracting only. I must have printed funny. So this one is a plus or minus page. And you're doing the same thing. You want to get this variable by itself. So we have, on this page, we have Q, R, X, Y, W, N, S, Z, K, V. Variables are always changing. This one has negative numbers, so we're going to have to work through it. Remember, use your calculator if you need it. So again, I'll do 4 of them with you guys. Yeah. It looks like the ones that have fractions don't necessarily have common denominators. This one does, but this one does not, and this one down here doesn't. So we'll do number 9 together, and I'll show you how to do it on a calculator. You can also convert your fractions, which this one's a pretty simple one to convert. So the opposite of plus 1/4 would be to minus 1/4, minus 1/4. Draw my line down, keep them separated, leaving us with N equals. So we can convert. We have a minus and minus, so we're going to have a bigger minus. We're going to combine these two. Our 5 will stay. 1/2 minus 1/4. Well, half has 2/4 in it. So I really have negative 2/4 minus 1/4. And I need to combine these, so I now have 3/4. You could have also used a calculator, which mine's right here. Alrighty, I will also do, let's do a decimal one. So I'm going to do number 7. We have W minus 7 6/10 equals 1 2/10. The opposite of minus would be 2 plus. Make sure your decimals lined up, because when you have decimals, they have to be lined up to add them properly. Our 7 6/10 cancel each other out, leaving us with W equals. So I have 2 plus 6, which is 8. Bring my decimal down. And 1 plus 7 is 8. Let's do number 10. Alright, so I have s minus 1/7 equals negative 2/7. Our fractions are the same. They have common denominators. So the opposite of minus 1/7 would be to add. So our 1/7 over here cancel out, leaving us with s. And I have 2 negative 2/7. So I have a negative 1/7 and a negative 1/7. And then I have 1 positive 1/7. So remember over here we had 1 negative 1/7 and a positive, and they cancel each other out. The same thing happens here. Those cancel, and leaving us with negative 1/7 left. So that would be our answer. All I did was I split my 2/7 into a 1/7 and a 1/7 until I had enough of them. Let's go ahead and let's do number 2, because we have a negative. So this one we can use our calculator on, and I'll show you how. So the opposite of minus 3 3/10 would be to add. First side cancels out, and leaving us with r equals, I think I need to be on this side. Okay, so I have negative. So you use this for your negative. Don't use your minus, otherwise it'll give you an error. So we have negative 4.6 plus 3.3, giving us negative 1.3 as our answer. Sorry, I messed up on that one. That's okay, though. Alrighty, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 left. Again, these are only adding and subtracting. Use a calculator if you need. Use Desmos has a button, and it looks like this on Desmos. So Desmos, their fraction button looks like this. On a calculator, if you're using the Texas TI calculators, TI Calc, your fraction button is 3 above your 7, so 1, 2, 3, and it looks like A and then a fraction BC. So a big A and then BC. And you would, if you're using the calculator, you would do your number, A, B, C, and your other number. If you have like number 5 down here, how it has 4 2/5, then you would do 4 A, B, C, 2 A, B, C, 5 A, B, C. That now creates your fraction of 4 2/5. If you're using this kind of calculator. If you're using the Desmos calculator, I think you just type in 4, hit the fraction button, and then click the top for the A and do a 2, click the B for your bottom and do a 5. That is your video for Monday, February 15th.